Hi everyone! This is my first video after having Myra, and I just wanted to do a quick video. I've just put her down after a feed, so I've literally got probably about an hour or hour and a half in which I want to do this quick video and then grab some sleep. So what I want to talk about today is I've got a lot of questions on Instagram about birthing and what did I do, how did I prep, all of those different things, and I thought I'll just do a quick one on how I actually prepped for the birthing process, because I think that's really important before I go into what my birthing story actually is or was. And I think the most important thing that I want to tell you is to make sure whatever research you do, whatever you do to prepare yourself for your birth, make sure your partner, your husband, whoever is going to be there during the birth is also on the same page. And that is so important because I can't stress how important it was for Pratik to know exactly what I had prepped, what I had researched, and be on the same page with me, because he was there with me throughout the birthing process. So whatever I had prepped, he had prepped as well. We were on the same page, because when you're in that zone during the birthing process, you can't really communicate much, and so you have to kind of, they have to know what to expect and what you need without you having to say anything. So make sure whatever you do, your birthing partner knows every single thing and is on the same page with you. Right, so what did I do in particular? I think the most important thing for me was the antenatal class that my hospital offered. And if you're in the UK, then you would know that there's the NHS antenatal classes, but then there's also the NCT ones, which are the private ones, which cost so much money. So I never did those private ones. I just went with the hospital ones, and it was a full day session. Pratik came with me, and it was so educational and it was so good. And I think the best part about it was the hospital tour, which I found incredibly useful, because you go in and they show you the birthing center and they show you the delivery suite and they talk about what's available in the room, what you can get with you, what you don't need to bring with you. And it's just mentally really good for you to visualize where you might give birth, and I thought that was extremely helpful. Plus the whole session was really educational, and I would definitely recommend you do antenatal class or classes, whatever is available to you. And the other thing was the breastfeeding workshop, which I managed to go to literally a day before I gave birth. So that was again incredibly useful, because they have a doll there and they have like other demonstration items, but they talk about different positions on breastfeeding and everything. And that actually brings me to another point, that preparing yourself for birth is not just the delivery part of things, but also what you need to do immediately after birth. I think that whole thing is just one big research, and you should definitely do things for post-birth during your birth research and your birth planning. The other thing I did was created a birth plan. And I did that with Pratik. So we both sat down and we discussed, okay, what kind of a birth do we want, and what kind of decisions will we have to make on the day, and how do we want to make those decisions? Because obviously when you're giving birth, you might not be able to take those decisions. Your partner has to take those decisions for you. So you have to have those discussions with him in advance. So we went through all of that. We decided who do we want in the room. So we had Pratik obviously, and we had my mum as well. And how do we want things to progress? What do we want to say no to? What do we want to say yes to? And just a whole bunch of things that you need to discuss and write down in your plan. And I think that was again really important. There's lots of templates, by the way, for birthing plans online, so have a look. I probably looked at like 2 or 3, one from NHS, and then a couple of others like baby center ones are really good as well, and just put my own thoughts in there as well. So that was really helpful. And then the other really important thing for me was to read 2 very important books. I don't know where they're kept, but I'll put links down the bottom in the description box. One is a guide to childbirth by, I think it's Ina May. It's an American author, and again, it was so incredibly helpful to just understand the whole process of birth, the biology of things, how the body adapts and how baby actually comes out, and I guess the different chemical reactions that go within your body before birth, after birth, during birth. So it's a very scientific led book, but at the same time it's encouraging natural birthing. So I found that book really, really helpful. It's actually broken into two sections, where in the first section they only talk about people's personal stories, and in the second section they actually give you the scientific reasons and how things actually happen. So I found the second part incredibly useful. Highly recommend that book. I'll put links down to them below. And then the second book I found incredibly helpful was Guide to Hypnobirthing. I can't remember the author's name, but check the link below. I wasn't sure if I would actually end up doing hypnobirthing, but again, I found just reading the book so incredibly helpful. I didn't actually end up doing hypnobirthing, but just the breathing techniques and again, the stories of natural birthing, I think they all help subconsciously prepare your mind, and they prep your mind and, like prime it in a very positive manner. So I think that's really useful because yes, we're all scared of the birth process. Yes, we've all heard horror stories, but there's also a really positive side to it. And the more you read about those things and the more you, I guess, prime your mind with those stories, I think it's better in the actual birth. So again, highly recommend those two books. They were so helpful, and yeah, definitely check the links down below. I would say the other thing that really helped me was some exercises specifically for the birthing process. So as you already know, I have had a really fit pregnancy and I've been quite active. I've done lots of yoga and some light prenatal cardio as well, lots of different things, lots of walking. But there were some specific exercises that I did. One is the Kegels, which is the pelvic floor exercises. You can just Google these, YouTube them. They're really easy to do. I made sure I did them consistently, and the earlier you start doing these, the better. And the second thing I did was a perineum massage, which is, so perineum is that small tissue between your two openings down there. And basically, sometimes the tissue can tear during birthing process. So to avoid that, to prevent that from happening, there is this massage that you can do. And I started doing that I think I started doing that late, but I think it still helped me because I didn't tear at the end. And I did that from probably week 30. So talk to your midwife if you're pregnant, or just look it up online if you're curious. But these are things that really helped me. The other thing that helped me was a birthing ball. Again, I was too late with this one, but I literally just got it the week when I gave birth. But it helped me so much in just getting the posture right. And again, it helped with the contractions later on as well. To a certain extent, when the contractions got terrible, I had to ditch the birthing ball because it caused more pain than relief. So Kegels, perineum massage, birthing ball, and then just general fitness like yoga, lots of squats. These things really, really help with the birthing process. What else have I got? I've got like a whole list in front of me. Let's see. Oh yeah, and baths. So I'm a shower person. I never take baths, but just for pregnancy and for the birthing process, I started taking baths in the last few weeks of my pregnancy. And I obviously had Pratik helping me because with such a big belly, there's the risk of slipping and all of that. So with Pratik, I would get into the bath, and that really helps with the contractions. So when I did go through the contractions in the end, Pratik ran me a bath and I was there. And then even in the hospital, I had a bath. So again, simple things, if you just do them in advance, then they're not a shock, or they're not like brand new when you actually go through the birthing process. So that again helped me. Then I watched a lot of birthing videos. So when I make mine, make sure to watch that, because I think the more you watch, the more, I guess, you are prepped with the reality of things, and every person has a different experience. So don't compare yourself and don't think I'm going to have the similar experience, but just, I think it opens your mind. And I personally did not have anyone I knew who had had a natural birth. A lot of my friends have had C-sections. So for me, it was really important to know the stories of people in the UK who've had natural births, because that's what I was aiming for, and thankfully that's what I ended up doing. And I follow a lot of YouTubers and Instagrammers, and some of them have had babies recently, so I just went and watched their birthing videos, which was super helpful. So if you have someone you follow, make sure you watch their birthing videos. Otherwise, I'll make sure to put one up pretty soon when I have a little bit more time on my hands. I think I've covered everything else, so I'm gonna stop this video now. I guess my biggest takeaway, if you don't take anything else, just for birthing planning and preparation, make sure that your birthing partner is on the same page as you, and whatever research you do, whatever reading you do, make sure they do it all with you, and that you discuss everything with them, because they're going to be there helping you when you can't communicate your desires and your wishes to the medical team. So good luck, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!